Hello, welcome back to Let's Play Shadowrun Hong Kong, and we are still doing between run conversations. Let's see. We have a mystery unread message over there. Ooh, probably should have. I'll talk to Duncan on my way back. Talk to Isabel. You enter Isabel's cabin to find her jacked into the octopus. Her body slouches motionless, tethered to the machine. The computer's large display flickers to life again, just as it did last time. Isabel's avatar fills the screen. This isn't helping. The avatar frowns down on you, a look of supreme disillusionment on its face. I'm in my safe space, and it doesn't help. The memories are just as painful here as they are in the real world. Your memories are a part of you. Decking doesn't make you leave that behind. No, I guess it doesn't. White plumes of static flow from the avatar's fist. She's shaking. It fucking should, though. I can't handle not having a way to escape from this. So what are you going to do about it? I don't know, okay? I just don't. You know what? Hang on. The avatar winks off the screen and the terminal powers down. Isabel's body shudders, a familiar tremor. Her consciousness is flooding back out of the matrix and into her meat. Her eyes flutter and she takes a sharp breath. Slowly, shakily, she rises from her perch on the floor. You're here with more questions, right? She coughs into the crook of her arm, wipes her nose with her sleeve. I'm sure that you are. Why else would you be bothering me? So spit them out, and I'll go digging around in that cesspit that I call a memory. Who knows, maybe we'll find a clue. I know that you're hurting, Isabel. If venting helps, please go ahead. She takes a deep breath, makes a visible effort to calm herself. No, that wasn't like me. This isn't the person that I want to be. I'll be okay. I can handle this. Just ask me your questions, okay? Let's get this ball rolling. Any thoughts about that last run? I wasn't there, remember? So for me it was pretty much like any other night. I spent the evening tooling around on the octopus. Anything else you wanted to know? I wish you were there. There was decking to be done. I have a question about the walled city. She clenches her jaw and nods. Go on. Gobbet told me about your escape from the walled city, just like you said she would. Oh, I didn't read the other three options. Oops. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Why are you telling me about it? Because I want to get your side of the story. All right, fine, if that's what you want. The walled city was a hellhole, you already know that, but for all of its failings, it was a good teacher. It taught me to hide, to stay small and unnoticed and insulated, to survive. It taught me that the fish on the perimeter of the school get eaten, that sticking your neck out is a fool's errand, and that even fools can have their uses. It also taught me to recognize a stronger person when I met one, and how to use that strength for my own benefit. So when I met Gobbet, I knew that she had something I didn't. Confidence? Sure, that, and her connection to Rat. Everything about her, really. We were different people then, still are now. But the differences were even more pronounced when we were kids. Care to elaborate on that? Gobbet was playful and carefree. She could hold her own in a scrape, but she mostly saw life as a game. As for me, well, I knew that it wasn't. I couldn't have been more than 9 or 10 at the time, but even at that age I saw Gobbet for what she represented, what she could be. And what was that? My own personal road out of a walled city, a path to freedom disguised as a little girl with dreadlocks, and as it turned out, I was right. She pauses, her eyes flit to the ground, and she tightens her hands into fists. Ever since I unlocked these damn memories, I can't go 10 minutes without thinking about what might have happened if I hadn't followed Gobbet out of that place. It's like a vicious cycle running over and over in my head. I hate it, but it won't stop. I feel guilty. It's bothering you because it's still fresh. We all lean on each other. It's how we survive in the shadows. You needed help and you took it. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Gives me another reason to feel grateful to her, I guess that's something. I've always known that I owed Gobbet, but now I remember how much and why. Anyway, that's my side of the story. I hope that it satisfied your curiosity. Let's move on. Gobbet said you didn't want her to guide your parents. Let's get some more salt to that wound. You didn't want her to guide your parents out of the walled city? That you wanted them left behind? Yes, but not for anything they've done. My parents were good people. They fled Somalia to try to find a better life for their children. It wasn't their fault they wound up in the walled city. I wanted them left behind for me. What do you mean by that? Isn't it obvious? She taps her temple. This. I knew what I was going to have done. I'd planned it well in advance. After I got out, I was going to find someone who could make my childhood go away. How would that have stuck if my parents were around? If I had a living reminder right there next to me? It wouldn't have, so they had to stay. You were just a kid. I probably would have made the same decision in your shoes. Yeah, you probably would have. For what it's worth, I was sure they'd be fine. They were my parents, grown-ups. They'd be all right. She heaves a sigh. Before you asked, I checked. They're gone now. I can't go riding to the rescue. I made a decision when I was a kid I felt like was the right one at the time, and now I have to live with it. Such is life. It wasn't always. Until very recently, I couldn't remember any of this. Now, let's change the subject, okay? Anything else would be fine. Why did you have your memories locked away? Well, that's obvious. Why do you think? They were awful, traumatic. I'm not talking about personal trauma here. I was fortunate enough to avoid the fates of many of my peers. I didn't get pressed into service in a brothel. The organ laggers didn't get me. I only had to watch one of my siblings die. She frowns. So yes, it could have been worse, but that doesn't make an early life in the walled city any easier to bear. Hang on, you watched one of your siblings die? She nods. My older brother, Cabdal, heroin overdose. He was 19, almost the age that I am now. Sorry you had to watch that. Me too. Want to hear something awful? I almost envied him. He got out easy compared to a lot of people who die in the walled city. There was no violence. He wasn't taken by organ laggers or gunned down by the triads. It was just a spike in his arm, depressed the plunger, and stopped breathing quick and easy. I'm sorry. Don't be. His death was a lesson, and I did my best to learn from it. Everything that happened in my childhood was that way, a lesson in disguise. Lessons about impermanence and the random cruelty of life. Lessons about what a huge mistake it is to get attached and how to prioritize your own survival more, no matter what. Those lessons were important. They kept you alive, but it's just as important to know when to leave them behind. She nods. Yeah, I know, but I'm having a hard time with that right now. We all carry the same scars, you and me, and Gunshow and Gobbet. Some run bigger and deeper than others, but we've all got them. I don't want mine anymore. Abruptly, she turns away. That's enough of that. Ask me something else, Noelle. I don't want to talk about this anymore. That's all for now. Can we talk about something else? No, I've got to go, Isabel. Like, can I ask about the walled city? Go on. That's all. Okay. I've got to go. Please, to be honest, almost anything else would be preferable. Be well. Okay. Gobbet! Please tell me you have something funny to tell me, Gobbet. Funny? Horrible? Funny? As you enter Gobbet's cabin, two things grab your attention. The first is Gobbet herself. She looks exhausted, bleary-eyed. The easy smile that you've come to associate with her is nowhere to be seen. The second is what she's doing. Gobbet appears to be in the middle of a valiant effort to stuff a whole roasted duck into a saucepan half its size. The bird's rubbery neck flops from side to side with every heave of her shoulders. She looks up from the saucepan blinking. A corner of her mouth twitches upward, but the half-smile falls away almost immediately. Oh, hey, Seattle. Caught me at a bad time. I was just making dinner. Yeah, it looks that way. Wouldn't it work if you cut it into smaller pieces first? Huh? She blinks down the duck. Mouth dips into a frown. Yeah, that'd probably be smarter, wouldn't it? I'm not really thinking clearly today. You feeling okay? You don't look well. She rubs the bridge of her nose with a pair of greasy fingers, leaving smudges of duck fat behind. It's weird. Ever since our last lesson, I felt, I don't know, preoccupied with the sinking ship. I don't really do the whole haunted by the demons of my past thing. I mean, that's fine for some people, but I'm allergic to drama. Generically, when thoughts of the past get me down, I remind myself that it doesn't matter. Laugh it off and go have a snack. But this, I don't know, it's weird. Ever since our last lesson, I haven't been able to get the sinking ship out of my mind. She looks down at the pot full of mangled duck on the counter, closes her eyes. I guess I'm just worried about Cat and Mal. Which is weird. Because why would I be? I mean, I haven't even spoken to them in years. Hell, if anything, they should be worried about me. I'm the one who gets shot at for a living. Maybe we should go check it out. The sinking ship isn't far, is it? No, no, I don't want to do that, at least not without a good reason. It'd be awkward. I'm sure that it's nothing anyway. Actually, check that. I know what this is. It's my own personal version of the same thing that we're all feeling. The psychic sewage that's being dredged up in all of us, whatever's happening in the walled city. I'm sure that you've had some flashes of memory from the Barrens in your bad dreams, right? Images from your past come back to haunt you, but you aren't going to drop everything and go running back there because that would be dumb. So tell me, why should I? Because the sinking ship is like 15 minutes from here? It couldn't hurt to check? Look, I don't want to go back there if I don't have to. Thinking about the place is enough to mess with me like this. I don't want to know what being there will do, but I'll tell you what. I'll drop Malvina a line just to check in. Make sure that this is a me problem and not a them problem. If there is something going on, I promise you'll be the first to know. Okay, if that's the way you want to play it. It is. Now, is there anything else that you wanted, or can we get back to my duck? Any thoughts about that last run? Gobbet positively vibrates with excitement, clapping her hands together with a huge grin. That was awesome! Think about it! We broke into some rich jerk's manor house, stole his artifacts so they could go to a museum, when we fought mummies! If that's not the plot of a Trid blockbuster, I don't know what is. Well, there was the one with the hotel and the vampire. I'm not sure what I think about that mummy's trinket. I've never had a dead person owe me a favor before. I'm not even sure how that works. Be careful when you use that trinket. As long as he does what we tell him to, that's really awesome. But if the Trids taught me anything, it's that mummies are always waiting for an excuse to run around cursing at everybody. So what else did you want to chat about? Thanks, Gobbet. And apparently we don't get a lesson this time. Yeah, sure. And Seattle? Everything will be fine. You'll see. If there is anything fishy happening on this sinking ship, you and Iz will be the first to know, I promise. Okay. Thank you, Gobbet. I mean, there was a little bit of sadness there, but thank you, Gobbet. That was cheering. That was good. You find Wu sitting on his bed and staring at the floor when you come to his cabin, because there are no sitting animations in this game. He rubs his head up and back, occasionally stopping to softly bounce his palm against his forehead. When he notices you, he closes his eyes and shakes his head. Not in the mood to talk right now. I gotta wrap my brain around this Edward Sang thing. Let's talk about something else then. Not right now, Killeen. I don't want to talk about our last run of the Walled City or the Triads or anything else. I just gotta work through this. 16 years. We lived with him 16 years and we never knew the man. 16 motherfucking years. Talk to you later. Okay, so that's that. The only person we could talk to about the last run was Gobbin. She was ecstatic about it. You awaken from blank, featureless sleep. You sweat-stoked and starving. You feel uneasy, but you can't say why. Groggily, you heave yourself out of bed. Okay. That's not particularly pleasing. Okay, we have, I think, Club 88 and the Adept. Oh, there's Maximum Law, too. I think I talked to Maximum Law. I could go ahead and check that real quick. Yeah, I talked to him. I sold him metadata about the books. Noel, what's going on? What have you been up to? The goggles servals whine softly as several lenses focus on you. Wait, were you just telling someone about me? Don't worry, T0 is a Wampoan. He's so cool, he's like refrigerant. So what can I hook you up with today? I have some metadata for you. You tell me what you've got. Network runs on information. I'm not telling you about the vampire. Something else. See you later, Law. Okay. Okay, so now we've already talked to him. There was that little bit at the beginning. Okay, so there's a couple different runs we have. One is this one to the south that was about the boat. I forget exactly which run that is. But it's not the Ares run. Shin is busily counting out cred sticks as you approach. Shin's hands move quickly, fingers deftly sorting them into plastic bins. Labels on the bins bear names. Steel Arm Lu, Grandfather Woe, Lucky Ping, and Kindly Chang. Shin's eyes flicker up at you for a fraction of a second before returning to the task. One moment, I'll be done shortly. A few last flicks of the wrist see the final cred stick sorted into the respective bin, with the lion's share going to Kindly and Steel Arm Lu. There, now, what can I do for you? You pay a lot of dues to the Yellow Lotus. Shin shrugs, obviously indifferent to the amount of the shop's being taxed. I do. That's how the system works. I pay kindly for rent. Steel Arm Lu gets money because he's my superior. Lucky Ping receives a finder's fee for goods she sends my way. And Grandfather Woe took me in. He gets paid because he's family and I owe him for getting me off the streets. If you join the organization, you have to pay the dues. It's the same as anywhere else. It beats the hell out of being homeless in Kowloon. Definitely, from the sounds of it. Stuffing the boxes away below the counter, Shin produces a box load of assorted needles and inks and begins cataloging them on a battered PDA. You don't mind paying? Not really. Grandfather Woe saved my life by taking me in, you know. Life expectancy for homeless kids in Aberdeen isn't very good. Because of him, I have silks and friends who will pay to make use of them. It's a good life, all things considered. Shin leans back against a stack of cages, causing the snakes within to hiss and snap at the glass. I'm just a blue lantern, a foot soldier. I answer to White Ming, who I studied with on Wudang Mountain. He's the 49er, the made man who runs our crew. I don't pay him because he takes his own cut out of what we make. Okay, that's all for now, Shen. I don't have anything I need to buy from you. I do want to play an adept, though. I wanted to play Street Samurai this time because I heard the cyberware was much improved, and it so far seems to be the case. But I do want to play an adept on a personal run. Ka Fai is showing off some fresh ink to everyone who passes inside Club 88. On each forearm he has a tattooed an anchor. It demonstrates how they look in various poses, from flexes to his standard arms folded across his chest. Not bad, right? Someone told me that only real sailors get tats like these. I figure it's appropriate either way, seeing as how my meat hooks hit like a pair of anchors. Well, let's hope they don't weigh you down. You getting cute with me, Noelle? Because you know I've been letting you strut about with your arms on account of respect for what you do. Don't go making me rethink that. Because someday soon, this guy here is going to be part of a crew you wouldn't want to tangle with. We'll make you walk the plank or something. Have you talked to your father about this? No, I wanted to be a surprise. I don't want him feeling like he forced me into the family business, by which I mean piracy, not this bluff we've got going on here. Doesn't take a genius to see that my ba has no love for the club. I'm a little afraid he might be jealous when I tell him I'll be shipping out. I know he misses it, the adventure, the thrills. I can picture it all, unfurling the black sails, running up the Skull and Crossbones, chasing down a fleeting ship, and then swinging across to plunder her hold. Yeah, I know it's not like that. These days it's speedboats with machine guns, climbing up rope ladders in heavy seas, and shipjacking. But hey, that's what I'm cut out for. I've got a heart for the sea, but I'm not afraid of hardship and hard work and hard fights. I don't work out just to look good and bounce drunk smugglers. You're serious about joining a pirate crew? Hell yes, and not just any pirates, the most exclusive group out there on the water, the Hell Thunder crew. I heard about them last week. They only take orcs and trolls like me. Tough bastards, too, men to be feared. It's the perfect operation for me to join, and I'm sure they'll take me, especially when they learn who my father is. I wouldn't be surprised if they were inspired by him in the first place. Not many troll pirates back in my ba's day. In fact, I bet they make me first mate or something just for being his blood. I'll leave you be. You have a lot of fantasy in your head. There's a new Shadowrunner in there. Hello. Yes, the elf had... Are those his ears? Something I can help you with, friend. The elf has a hard-set look to his face and the cold stare of someone accustomed to casual violence. The most striking thing about him, however, are the glowing golden tattoos that wrap from his forehead around toward the back of his head, just over one ear. Nice ink you've got there. It's not ink, not really. It's a spell. The elf's tone is flat and disinterested, but he fixes you with an intense stare. Magical tattoo, the kind of thing you tend to pick up in the business. What business is that, anyway? Fixing you with a dubious look, the elf cocks his head. What the hell do you think, woman? Look at you. We're obviously working the same angle here in Heoi. Name's Brent Cherokee. He doesn't extend a hand, but nods at you in greeting. I'm a mage. One of the best in this hemisphere, in fact. Nice to meet you. I'm Noel. Good to know you. If you need anyone to pick up the magical slack on your team, you can find me here. What's your specialty as a mage? What kind of bullshit question is that? Are you interviewing me for a job or renting tuxedos or something? Prince snorts and hunches over the table on one elbow. Magic is about power. You can dress it up however you like, but that's the core of what it is. I've met a lot of magicians who talk about being spiritually in tune with the universe or reaching a higher state of enlightenment. It's all crap. You focus on your will to enact a change on the universe. The stronger your will, the bigger the change. Calling it anything else is just window dressing. And you're not answering the question. I asked what you specialized in, not your philosophy on what magic is. That's why I bring the big guns. Fire, lightning, raw force. My will is stronger than steel or Kevlar or stone. A good mage knows exactly how far they can push themselves, and they ride that limit. It's not the blessing of a totem or idol, but their own skill at knowing their limits, just like an athlete. What about astral space? Spirits. It's where all the magicians draw their power. Sure, there are spirits, but those are tangible. We can measure them. Totems, idols, there's no external evidence they exist. In fact, it's much more likely they're simply common Jungian-style archetypes that the superstitious use to explain their power. You're that tradition. I mentioned that in a previous video, that there was this tradition that didn't believe the spirits were actually a thing, that they were projections. Okay. You're not hermetic. Column sits with his eyes closed and his head back. One might assume he's asleep or trying to shake a particularly nasty hangover. When he stirs, his eyes are clear and uncharacteristically focused. Noel, right? What brings you back? I see your memory works fine when you're clear-headed. Suppose it does. I need that clear thinking tonight. What's going on? Maybe nothing, maybe everything. Could be a way out of this pit. Way to do something more with my life than sell cheap thrills and cheap pills. And what's this way out you mentioned? I met a man, or rather a man sought me out. I went to all the trouble to set up a meet and get it into Heoi. That takes guts for someone to help with. He said he's a recruiter, like a talent scout for one of the big corporations. They're interested in me. Me? Can you believe that? Even way down here in Heoi, they heard of me. They see potential in me. Talent Ka Fai. One of the big shots of this corps wants to be my benefactor. It's amazing, right? Even Li Ka-shing needed mentors. He became the most successful man in the world. One of the most successful men in the world. This is my start. This is my break. This recruiter wouldn't tell me the guy's name, or the name of the corps. It's still very preliminary. This was just a first step, you know, but a first step toward walking out of here. Is it really so bad here? You've been here long enough, you should know better by now. Most people figured out the first few hours. Heoi is a way station. Halfway between something better and something worse. You stay here, you're just accepting the fact that you'll never amount to it. You're agreeing that all you care about is keeping your head above water. It's 4 good walls and 3 square meals at its best. Some people pass through on their way down before bottoming out of the walled city or as a floater in the harbor. Others pass through on their way up to places like Tai Ku Shing or Aberdeen. That's how I intend to go. I'll leave you. I don't think you get how good you've got it. See you in a little bit. It's time to go on to a new video.